And welcome back to Who Would Win. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Superboy Prime, who asked the question, who would win in a fight? Him or Ganon/Ganondorf from the Zelda franchise? Now, look, again, this is one of those fights where I'm going to just try to give you the winner off the bat and explain my reasoning why, with a caveat near the end. It's Superboy Prime. Superboy Prime is not just a universal level threat. Superboy Prime is so powerful, he threatened the multiverse. He literally was strong enough to punch and crack reality, and just break it. He's got all the standard powers of a Superman. Solar radiation absorption. He's got no special resistance to magic, kryptonite weakness, but all the super senses, the strength. He apparently does also have some high resistance to reality warping as well. So if you're a reality warper, you need to be a very powerful reality warper. Ganon is just not that level of a fighter. Ganon is a very powerful individual in his world. Possibly even planetary if the measurements of power from Death Battle are anything to go by. But he's not a universal level threat, not even close. What Ganon does technically have going for him, though, is the fact that he can't really die in the traditional way. The Triforce of Power gives him high strength, durability, magical capabilities. He's a skilled user. He's a magician. He's got a lot of different magical abilities as well. But that doesn't really mean much against someone who can survive reality warping on a large scale or on a concentrated scale. Again, strong enough reality warping is one thing entirely. Just because he has no special resistance to magic doesn't mean Ganon has any level of magic that could theoretically do anything beyond superficial to him. If he pulls out a magical blade and cuts Superboy, well, yeah, that hurt, but unless he somehow went for the head and got a lucky shot in, there's no way he's going to be able to kill Superboy Prime with just that. And that's assuming Superboy Prime even lets him get close enough. Superboy Prime is well known for not being stable. Superboy Prime is kind of wacko just a little bit. Ganon's a lot more cold and collected, certainly, but he too can lose his cool in multiple instances. The question would be more often than not, can Ganon even survive going toe-to-toe with someone like Superboy Prime? And for a while, the answer would be yes. Because the Triforce of Power gives him all these abilities, basically makes him immortal to one degree or another, he wouldn't really be able to kill Ganon. He would have to find a way to deactivate or just destroy or overwhelm the Triforce of Power, which can't happen. I just don't think there's any ability that Superboy Prime actually has that could do it. But that being said, Ganon doesn't have really a lot going for him that will do any lasting damage. So more likely what's going to happen is Superboy Prime beats him basically into a coma and then leaves him for dead. Or punches so hard that he actually breaks him and reality at once and then destroys him that way because he's literally got shattered out of reality. So yeah, Ganon doesn't really have much to way into beating this guy. But I say that with this in mind. Because Ganon uses magic, and because he can pretty much transmutate stuff with magic, there is a scenario, a la kind of like how the Marquis of Death could have gone when I did that fight. Some people are arguing, like, Superboy is immune to reality warping, or at the very least, he's a very resistance. Yeah, but the Marquis of Death can really blow up universes with a thought, whereas Superboy might be resistant, but he still has to concentrate and take the brunt of the damage, and he can't. And surviving a universe exploding is something he might be able to do, but not without significant damage to himself. Supermen are very powerful, but they're not infallible by any stretch of the means. Where I was getting at with this, though, is that Ganon/Ganondorf could, in the right scenario, beat Superboy Prime by turning all the armor he's wearing, or whatever he's wearing, just into pure green kryptonite. Like, just turning everything he's wearing, transmuting with a spell something into kryptonite, if he knew what his weakness was. That would be the key here. He'd have to know what Superboy Prime's weakness is. But assuming he does, and that's a big assumption, then yes, hypothetically he could magic green kryptonite into the world, or like around him or on his body, and that would immediately start to weaken him. Especially being surrounded by that much of it, he would just start to weaken insanely fast. Now, granted, he would probably still be strong enough before it takes a severe effect to break out of something like that, like his entire wardrobe got turned into kryptonite. But again, Ganon could easily summon kryptonite back to him and just, kryptonite, ah! So there is a very small percentage scenario where Ganondorf could theoretically pull a win out. But it's so small, and it relies on him knowing the weakness, that I don't see it as the likely outcome. Any damage he can do to Superboy Prime is going to be superficial, really, at best. But look, that is just my opinion. What do you think? Do you think Ganon is actually has a really good shot against Superboy Prime, or is Superboy Prime just an opponent that Ganon is not up to par to take on? Let me know in the comments below. But until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one.